3 years ago, I wasn't just trying to become a better dad. I was trying not to lose my kids. And after my marriage collapsed, I had plenty of motivation. There was fear, guilt, shame, and even pressure, but none of that rebuilt me. What changed everything was committing to a 100-day journey of brutal honesty in how I was leading. And in this video, you'll learn the number one thing holding most dads back and why the fix is enough to change the trajectory of your family forever. That one thing that almost destroyed everything for me wasn't lack of effort. It's what I refused to look at. So let's go. Now I'm going to tell you a story, and I want you guys to just put in the comments, men, if you can relate to being this type of dad, this type of man, just let me know, okay? I just want to know if this is something that is just me being an individual or if most dads do this, okay? So I was a dad, I'm going to say the typical dad. I liked manly things. I liked sports. I liked being outdoors. I liked shooting. And I was okay with having a couple drinks, you name it. I would enjoy parties and holidays. I knew that what birthdays meant, what gatherings meant was that we were going to have good conversation, or at least I thought it was good. And we were going to have a drink in our hand. We were going to get a chance to spend time with guys that we don't always see, kind of like bringing the boys back together. And for me, I knew that I could utilize the excuse, the mentality, the fatherhood mentality in my head of, yeah, it's good for the kids to be around other kids. It's good for them to go. Knowing, though, I was just going to go drink with the boys, either in a backyard or a garage. And I'm telling you that I don't think I'm alone in this. So if you're bold enough, just put in the comments, be like, yep, that's the kind of dad I am. I'm a man. I like manly things, but also I will take advantage of situations like parties and holidays to just hang out with the boys. And I'm not even saying that you're bad or a bad dad for doing that. I'm just saying that this is where the journey started for me. Okay, so from that reality of living for me, I can tell you two things. One, I was not fulfilled at all, and I think more so, I just didn't want anybody to know that I felt a big lack in my life. Right? I didn't want people to know that I was internally struggling or not really wanting to be there, and it took way too long for me to realize the number one skill to great leadership. And that number one skill is self-reflection. Now, before any growth takes place for you, but for me, before it ever took place, I had to see it and expose all of the crap, all of my shortcomings, and all of my shame. And when you look in that mirror, I know, boys, men, gentlemen, when you wake up and you look in that mirror and you look at yourself, I know these thoughts in your head. I know what's going on. I know the shame, the guilt, they all sneak in. And I know you got to stomach them, you got to swallow it, you got to chest out, chin up, man up, and still go about your day. Go perform in your day, right? That purposelessness, the discontentment, all of that's there. And yet we still continue to go to the job we don't like, or to do whatever task is on the list for the day. We still do it. But you're not fooling anybody, all right? I know the discontentment is there. And this is where pretty much every man quits. And the reason why I say every man quits, most, okay? Almost every. Every man quits because this is where they stop. This is where the journey stops for them. They realize it, they feel the shame, they feel the discontentment, they feel the guilt, they feel like they're supposed to be more, but they're not. And yet they don't do anything with it. And so they'll start to avoid those thoughts in their head. They'll start to avoid those conversations, i.e., from the story, the numbing, the drinking, the showing up and pretending everything's okay. All of that is to avoid mirrors. All of that is to avoid the mirror. The mirror gives you a reflection. The mirror internally is the self reflection of your life and of the things that have gone on. And if it removes blame, okay, when you avoid that reflection, you remove the blame from yourself where you have all the power, and you remove it to shift it onto something else. My job, my wife, my kids, whatever. That injury in high school that meant I couldn't go play D1 ball anymore. All of it. You're shifting blame. And the problem with that is all you're doing is exposing your internal inconsistencies to the point where everybody can see it. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I had too many times people told me how much I changed. And the only thing I changed was consistency on the outside. Consistency on the inside, consistency on the outside. And the fact that when you do that and people start telling you something's different and you changed shows just how inconsistent you were, how inconsistent I was, right? And I come from a military background, and I'm going to tell you right now, comfort kills growth. We'd always say that before we do something hard or before we struggle or try to accomplish a task that we didn't think we could do. Comfort kills growth. And it's pretty sad to me that the majority of men taking it's so sad that the majority of men are taking more risk in sports bets or fantasy than they do on themselves. It's kind of like the fisherman story. I know you guys have heard it. I'll try to sum it up quick, but also still hit the points just in case you haven't. But if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for life. But why do men continue to choose to invest in just getting a fish from somewhere instead of learning to fish? All right. Why are you risking a little and wasting time and resources to play fantasy football or the lottery? Oh my goodness, I just had a conversation with another man, one of my clients, about the lottery. And it's just like, what are your real odds to win the lottery? And why do you devalue yourself so much that that's even, okay, tangent, stop. These environments where you have very little payoff, it pretty much just becomes a dumpster fire for your hard-earned money that you didn't even want to work to earn in the first place. You say how crappy your job is, but then you're financially inconsistent to get yourself to a position either out of that job or out of a job altogether. That's crazy to me, all right? Now, I'm going to take this back to fatherhood real quick, because I think it's one thing for a man to just call it out. It's great. You'll feel the hit, but you won't really want to change. And I know that, and that's okay. But let's get down on a knee real quick, as if we're talking to our kids. Let's meet them eye to eye. I want you to confess to them how you spend your money, either fantasy, lottery, sports betting, whatever. And I want you to ask them to make a list of the pros and cons of those actions in consideration to what it actually brings to them. How does it benefit their happiness or their needs? To me, I have a 10-year-old who would put everything that she could think of in the con section. And the truth is, men don't avoid reflection because it's emotional work and I got to lay on a couch and talk to a counselor. No, they avoid it far before then. And it's because it's too accurate. It's out of that comfort, right? And comfort kills growth. So we're going to stay in comfort because it's hard to do the other thing. But your kids will never see your intent. In order for them to have clarity on your intent, you have to say it. But what they will see They'll always see your patterns. My kids, I know this by the grace of God. They are reading their Bible. They are working out on their own. They're doing all these things on their own because they've seen my wife and I completely stay committed and consistent to doing exactly that and doing it in front of them. It's different when you tell them, hey, go do that thing. Even lovingly and even from a logical perspective where you say, hey, this is good for you and this is why we do it. That's not gonna make any movement. But if they see that you don't do anything else but that, man, that changes everything. All right? So this is what I want you to get from this, okay? I know you've been on the edge of your seat like, great, but okay. And when we look in the mirror, gentlemen, the self-reflection mirror, you could do this in front of a real mirror because I know that's when the thoughts come up. But when you look into that mirror of self-reflection, there's nothing to add to fix your leadership. To fix your leadership, you have to remove self-deception. Look, this is not soft and sweet. I'm not here to coddle you. I'm not here to say you're perfect as you are and just be yourself. No, I'm not. This isn't journaling. This isn't laying on a couch like I said earlier, but you're not doing that, okay? The best way is the masculine way. Man, we need to stand up. I say this. You're over here picking out your new gun, right? To protect your family. Brother, you're the threat. When you don't focus on growing yourself, when you don't get better for yourself, you are the threat in your home. And I took an oath in the military against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I realized that the number one threat to my children and my life was me, I took that oath seriously. And I started to slay the enemy. Now, look, that might be a little whatever, cliche, whatever. However you want to put it, but the reality is this. I realized that I was the biggest threat. It didn't matter what took place outside of my home if the majority of the time the kids were in the home and they're still affected by negativity from me. It didn't matter. Okay. I don't think that you can just journal your way out of this. I don't think that you can motivational video your way out of this or podcast your way out of this. I have created, okay? You need to really when I say that I advanced on the enemy, that I started attacking the enemy myself. I did real self-reflection, real checking. Honesty. Excuse me. I called it an audit, a leadership audit, okay? And this is the very first thing that I did to start that 100-day journey. I brought my crap out into the light and I made it so that it could be exposed and dealt with. And this audit that I did, I made it super easy for you. It's inside my free community. It's inside the Stonewall community. That's the name of my community, the Stonewall community. And it's a free community. And in there, I put my 7-day leadership audit. You can click the link in the description below to gain access to the free audit and other resources, including a community of men who are going through this as well. So, listen, even after you're looking in the mirror, by the way, go click that link. Even after you're looking in the mirror, men still don't move. That's why I said click the link. But it's okay. Why don't they move? You want to know why? All right. How many superhero movies do you know about where it started out where the hero went through a challenge, a hardship? And then how many superhero movies went from that scene to the rest of the movie, the superhero not doing anything about it? Did you see those scenes where they just made excuses about how the world's against them or it's too hard, they didn't have time? Did you see those scenes? No. Why? Because excuses consume your purpose and your potential. And I hate them. Of course they're there. Of course they happen, right? It is the old saying that excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one, and they stink. Because everyone still does, myself included. But I hate it. I have to overcome them constantly. The problem with having excuses is not being aware of them. That's not the problem. It's avoidance, and the avoidance isn't like I'm not going to touch it. The avoidance is disguised as an explanation of why it's there or why it has to happen. Oh, I don't have time because my kids are doing this and this and this. I can't get in shape. My kids are in 3 different sports and my job and my wife and this, right? Explanation or justification. Oh, but I have this. Um, I planned on doing it at the New Year, so I'm just going to enjoy the holidays. I'll justify putting it off another month or two. And here's what I know about being a man. Honestly, like I'm not going to sit here and be the one that's just figure it out. You got to deal with it. I mean, I am, but days are also tough. Life on Earth sucks. It is hard, and I think the people that do the best and are successful are the ones that accept that it's hard and do the hard things. We circle back to comfort destroys, it kills growth. I can't say it enough, right? And it's tough. Yeah. Everyone is demanding something of you. You know, the kids want it now, the wife wants it now, the job wants it now, all the repairs around the house, they need it now. But you've been trained to receive respect and a sense of purpose through what you accomplish with your hands, right? Men are doers. And to say that, I mean, I get it. I'm I'm a doer, right? God built us this way though to endure all that we must do, and I'm too stressed or it's not a good time. I'll get healthy once things calm down. That's not the life that was meant for you. You know, with kids, you don't have the ability to say those things. I'm telling you right now, it is time to step up because those excuses are the exact excuses that bring disaster upon your kids when it's time for them to step up. Right now, it's not about you. If you have kids, it's not about you. It is about them and training them, guiding them to be who you wish you were. And the best way to train them and guide them on who you wish you were is to first become who you want to be. And through that process, you will be training them. 2 birds in 1 stone, gentlemen. Don't say I didn't give you nothing, all right? But look, when you delay leadership, your kids are going to carry it. I mean, I went on a rant just now, but your kids carry the load. They carry the weight of your failure in leadership. And I took this off Google, so I'm just going to read it, but it says children learn more from observing their parents' actions, behaviors, and interactions than from direct instructions, forming their values and understanding of the world through what they witness, not just what they're told. It highlights that actions consistently model behavior, teaching kids how to navigate emotions, handle conflict, and treat others, often more powerfully than spoken words. They learn how before why. They learn how. I can't even read the words I'm saying. It says they learn how before why. You decide who you want to become, but do it, please do it fast. Because whatever you let them witness is going to show them who you are, but more importantly, what is acceptable for them. I got to read that again. They learn how before why, and you decide who you want to become. Okay, we're going to cut that part out. They learn how before why. Okay? You decide who you want to become. But please do it fast, because whatever you let them witness is going to show them who you are, but more importantly, what's acceptable for them. You're showing them the level. You're showing them the standard that they should live at. Because they're saying dad has it all together. Dad has a nice house. Dad has the American dream. Dad's a little overweight, so it's okay to slip a cookie after, it's time to go to bed. We'll sneak out and get a little dessert. We'll hide some candy. We'll go get that fast food, right? Like all of these things, they're watching and they're saying, oh, but it's okay. Dad does it. Excuses do not remove the consequences. And I could list probably, maybe more, but I could list pretty quickly 20 excuses right now from the time that I was a single dad while working full time and still needing to do all of the chores around the house, take care of myself, take care of the kids. If I played that game, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. I definitely wouldn't feel like I can coach some people. I would not think that I could help dads if all I was doing was using my excuses. And my kids would not be with me. Oh, that's yeah. If I accepted that life, my kids would not be with me full time either. The three things that gave me the ultimate edge were physical training, optimizing nutrition, and studying and accepting the training for mental fortitude. Prioritizing your fitness and what you put into your body and the ability to adapt and stay focused will take you further than any motivational video or pity me story ever. Real reflection equals real action toward change, and until your conviction makes you move, comfort. Boys, get out the cuffs, man. Comfort will be your prison. Leadership delayed is leadership denied. Do you guys understand what that even means? You are denying your children the leadership they need every time you delay stepping into that role. And someone else is always going to pay the price. And it will, I promise you, it will always be the people you love that pay the price first. If excuses are all that you have, please do not manage them. Correct them. Step up before time takes that decision from you. And seriously, click the link in the description. Let's get in the community. Let's utilize that audit so you can start leading the way you're supposed to be leading. But we just talked about a bunch of stuff. And if you're still sitting here saying, I don't have time to change, I'm not going to argue. I'll actually put money on the fact that you're right. I'll bet you're right, and I'll explain why. When everyone says, I don't have time for XYZ, it's not because their life is actually too busy. It's because the time that they would have for it is already being spent. It's just not intentional. You don't realize it. And I have an issue with time, the idea of time being linear, not in the sense of recording it, but in the sense of spending it. So hear me out for a second. All right, time is the most valuable resource we have by a long shot, right? But also, we set the value of our time to a currency we are comfortable with. Before I go off on a huge tangent, let me say it clearly. How you spend your money impacts your present and your future. Well, so does your time. Time compounds in one of two directions. It's going to compound into progression or pain. When action is taken to grow, that time spent on yourself compounds progress into the future. And each moment you do nothing to grow also compounds, but painfully. I'll be practical for the sake of your time right now trying to grow as a father. Watching this video builds on the progress side if you implement what I said. But likewise, choosing to do nothing after this video will compound the pain of not taking action, wasting time that should have been built up in the progress category. So just remember this. Every week you stay the same. Your kids learn what to expect from you and who you are and the standards of who they will try to become. They don't care if you plan to change later. The average lifespan of a father in America is 75 years old at the time of this video. That is 27,400 days. That's it. But how many of those days have moved the needle in your life in the direction you actually wanted it to go, right? That's why the first day of 100 days isn't a big commitment at all, but it has extremely compounding rewards by just taking action. It's a small interruption to a trajectory that, left alone, compounds for decades into painful regret of self-doubt. 100 days of correction can save years of regret. But waiting always feels cheaper than it is. And why is that? Leadership isn't built by short spurts of intensity, but by direction applied early and often. The mirror shows you where you are. The decision determines where time takes you. And if you're ready to stop compounding in the wrong direction, start with the audit I built in the link below in the community. Seriously, click the link. Your kids don't need a perfect father. They need one who stops waiting for the right time. That time is now. I'll see you in the next one.